Yeah, this is one of the sets I call a one-off wonder. It's a set we're only going to use once. Unfortunately, it's one of those sets that, if we add up the seconds it's going to appear in the film, it's probably only something like 10, 15 seconds. We have quite a lot of these sort of one-off wonder sets. We've had oceans and rivers and jungles, and they appear very briefly in the film, yet took a huge amount of time and effort to make, and Central Park's one of those.
This is one of the biggest sets of it's an unusually big one. Most of them the sets are about 3 foot square. This one is a more grandiose scene with a skyline and city skyline in the background of a park, and we've tried to create more levels and more depth in the scene, which is something that we're constantly struggling to do with the tiny studios.
The access to these puppets is a little tricky. You've got two guys quite deep, so you've got a lot of stretch to get in. They're one-off characters, so they don't get nearly the same amount of attention as Max or Mary would have done. There's a little bit of movement in their head, but these two guys, they have to be embraced, and they're kissing on this park bench in New York. And you can just see there that when I push that, there's absolutely no movement in her arm there. So that's going to be quite challenging, and unfortunately that's the nature of the beast. When you have these two characters that only appear in one scene, they're right at the bottom of the list of priorities in terms of movement. They still obviously need to have some movement in there, but it's going to be quite a challenge for the animator to get in there and make it believable.
In New York you don't see stars in the sky, but the director, Adam, wanted to see stars in the sky for personal reasons, I guess, so we're doing that.
The only thing we're doing differently is that instead of capturing the images on film, we're capturing them on a hard drive. The characters are still plasticine, we're still using real sets made out of real wood, and there is the lure of doing, say, digital skies or doing digital smoke, or we can do all those things, but right from the word go we decided to shoot this film in camera in a way it would have been shot 50 years ago.
Well, the main conflict with stop motion these days is in how slick you make it. I mean, technology has got to the point where you can make it really, really slick, but there have been cases of films where that's just gone too far, and it's taken away a lot of the personality of the films.
Yeah, look, I almost don't want to go to film. I think I'm so used to seeing the images upstairs in a digital format. But then look, it's a balance, because I'm trying to shoot this film in a traditional manner. It's an in-camera film. Every single thing you see on that screen can be held in your hand. Even some of the smoke coming out of the characters' cigarettes, that smoke is actually white wire, which we've shot on a separate stage and then comped in. So everything is tangible, everything is tactile.
It goes right back to the design of the props and sets, which are all built intentionally with what Adam calls chunky and wonky look. So there's nothing straight. You can try and level your camera on one of these sets, in a conventional setting, and it'll never look straight, whatever you do, because nothing is built straight.
I have really enjoyed working with this system. It is by far the best system I've worked with. It's given me creative freedom, and this is really also coming from a lot of experience. I've worked in a lot of studios over my career, not just in Australia but over the world as well, and to come in and work on a system that is specifically set up for one particular job, and to get the attention of not just an Australian first, but also an international first. And I know Aardman are very, very keen to see how this comes out, because I believe that this is the way for their future as well. I believe that they're going to consider shooting their next feature on digital.
Mary and Max is being released as a film, a film print release, but to have shot it on 35mm negative with the budget and the time constraints that we have, we would never have been able to do it, at least not at the level of creative freedom that we've had.
The time we save by using the digital cameras is, I mean, I don't think we could have made this film, especially considering our budget is so low. I mean, $8 million sounds like a lot of money, but in stop motion it's really nothing. But I don't think we could have made this film using film.
I'm enjoying not having to push past these Mitchells, and there are these enormous boat anchors of cameras, and they're really hard to get round. Whereas these little cameras, they're fantastic. And I'm sure even from a DOP's point of view that they can get a camera into a set without having to move walls and all this sort of thing. And the other thing I'm really enjoying about these cameras is their live split.
In stop motion, we've never had very good feedback from the cameras. Video assists are bad enough, but in animation they're appalling because you're often working at quite small stops and low light levels, and the images are very dark and grainy and just about unusable. But now the digital stills cameras have a very good live feed from them, which is quite high resolution. And while we can use that for setting up the lighting as well and programming the shots in motion control and getting a very accurate picture of what's actually going on and how the lighting is looking and things like that.
I've worked with some of the worst splits where it's been fuzzy, grainy, black and white, very high contrast. And it just takes all the guesswork out, because what you're seeing from your playback is very, very close to what your audience is going to see in the cinema.
If anything, the digital technology is liberated stop motion animators. We can really see what we're doing now. The clarity of every image is so crisp and clear and sharp, and if anything, sometimes the clarity is too sharp. It's almost like animating with a microscope. I mean, one of the Canons, I think it's 22 megapixels or something, and it's just, it's incredible now. You know, because we've always used video assist units to try and help us see what we're animating. But in the past, I've had to use your intuition a lot. But now you can really plan what you're doing, see what you're doing as you're doing it. You're not having to wait for your rushes to come back. We're able to view a shot when it's finished within minutes, you know, able to see it upstairs in our theatre in high definition. And that's a real benefit, because a lot of the animators, you know, they don't want to have to wait 3 days before they find out whether their shot's been approved. They can get their shot approved instantly, and if it's not approved, then while they're still enthusiastic and passionate, they can quickly do a take two if they want to, or they can delay it and push it down the track. But yeah, it's brought a lot of freedom. It's liberated stop motion.